Listen up, if your family is among the 87% of American households that eat pizza at least once a month, the majority of people believe that pizza is pizza, cheese, sauce, dough, and possibly pepperoni. How awful might it be? The pizza industry has devolved into a race to the bottom, so fasten your seatbelt. I'm revealing 5 pizza restaurants today that are essentially giving you palatable disappointment at exorbitant costs. After that, I'll tell you about 3 chains that do it correctly. You're about to discover something that could save your family from some very dubious dinners, so hit the subscribe button. Let's start with Domino's, a chain that has made delivering pizza to your door in 30 minutes or less the cornerstone of their contemporary identity. The problem with such pace, though, is this. The cost of it is far higher than what you pay at the register. As you may recall, Domino's essentially acknowledged that its pizza was terrible back in 2009. In ads, CEO Patrick Doyle actually stated that their pizza has no flavor and tastes like cardboard. Isn't that brutal honesty? They fully revamped their formula over the course of 2 years and an unknown amount of money. Here's what Domino's didn't tell you about their amazing metamorphosis, though. The pizza may have tasted better at first, but it was still operated by the same flawed system that produced cardboard pizza. It is comparable to applying a new layer of paint on a house with a foundation crack. Although it appears better, the issues remain. That dough, the new and improved one, it still has enough dough conditioners and preservatives to last through a nuclear winter. Although it tastes better than the original cardboard variant, its purpose is speed rather than flavor. We are discussing dough that is combined in large quantities, frozen solid, transported to retail locations, thawed, and then molded by machines. That's food manufacture, not fresh. And let's not even talk about the sauce. Although the modified version tasted better, it is still essentially high fructose corn syrup masquerading as tomato sauce with artificial flavors. There are some real tomatoes in there, but there are also enough chemical additions to worry a chemistry professor. The improvements in the cheese? Mirrors and smoke, mostly. In order to accomplish the melting qualities that their speed-obsessed operation requires, they did raise the percentage of actual mozzarella, but it is still combined with enough vegetable oil and fake flavors. It's similar to switching from fake cheese to a marginally better variety. However, pricing constraints and delivery schedule requirements force them to return to their previous methods within a few years, following that significant recipe modification. Former workers recount how they saw quality standards progressively decline as training was cut and delivery deadline pressure grew. Do you want evidence? Despite all those recipe enhancements, customer satisfaction ratings for food quality have actually decreased since 2015. Interpretation? Any benefits from using superior ingredients were outweighed by the operational shortcuts. The promise of a 30-minute delivery is the true issue. To save time, pizzas are pulled from ovens before they are done, and they are then completed under heat lamps while being delivered. Your pizza isn't cooked all the way through. Uneven cooking and the possibility of bacterial survival in such undercooked areas make for an interesting science experiment. What about that sophisticated tracking system? Employees are now under even more pressure to fulfill irrational deadlines. To save a few valuable seconds, hand washing is neglected and sanitization procedures are disregarded. We didn't have time to actually inspect anything, which is what your pizza tracker indicates when it says, "Quality check complete." It is exacerbated by the franchise model. There is ongoing pressure on individual locales to maintain profitability while meeting corporate time goals. So, regardless of what the business recipe actually requires, food safety and quality are sacrificed on the altar of speed measurements. When various ingredients are handled by the same surfaces and equipment without adequate cleaning, cross-contamination is essentially unavoidable. However, thorough cleaning requires time. And in Domino's universe, time is the enemy. The bottom line? Better ingredients won't solve underlying issues. You will receive worse meals as long as speed takes precedence above all other considerations. Patrick Doyle was refreshingly honest. However, the company's failure to sustain those gains exposes the underlying reality. Customers always lose when delivery time is more important than cooking time. Let's now discuss Chuck E. Cheese, the location where pizza and childhood memories go to die. Let's talk about that. Parents are Chuck E. Cheese's captive audience. They will do nearly everything to keep their children happy for a few hours. And by serving what can only be classified as pizza-related culinary items, they have fully capitalized on that desperation. Do you recall the 2019 viral scandal? Parents nationwide were shocked by what YouTuber Shane Dawson revealed. Pizzas from Chuck E. Cheese that appeared to have been put together from entirely other pizzas. Pieces that obviously didn't belong together, uneven toppings and varying crust thickness. It resembled patchwork pizza. The theory gained widespread traction. Did they really reheat the leftover slices from returned pizzas and create new pizzas by Frankensteining them? Cheese Chuck E. denied it. However, they were unable to explain why their pizzas always appeared to have been put together by someone wearing a blindfold. The controversy exposed something more serious. Regardless of whether they were genuinely recycling pizza slices, their pizzas naturally looked like leftover bits since their quality control was so poor. For a restaurant that's meant to be about having fun and dining with family, that's not a good look. Let's discuss the real ingredients in those pizzas. The dough is created from a mixture that puts shelf stability ahead of any taste. We're talking about a stress ball textured crust that tastes like cardboard. Your taste buds are formally complaining, even though your children may not notice. In essence, the sauce is corn syrup with a tomato flavor and enough preservatives to last longer than your mortgage. Any genuine tomato flavor is completely overpowered by the fake flavor. It's as though they decided that ketchup wasn't sweet enough. But where things get really gloomy is with the cheese dilemma. Less than 40% of the processed cheese product they utilize is real mozzarella. The others? A Twinkie would be envious of the artificial flavors, preservatives, and vegetable oil. There is no melting of this cheese. It simply warms up and separates into oily puddles that seem to be trying to get away from your slice. Chuck E. Cheese's food safety is intriguing. Employees are hopping between play areas and food prep without properly washing their hands, and children are running around touching everything. Cross-contamination cannot simply occur. It's very much a given. You can learn all you need to know from the business model. Maintaining the arcade games takes precedence over the quality of the food. Pizzas are made hours in advance and warmed as needed, erasing any flavor or texture that may have remained. Your pizza won't be fresh. Your disappointment is being reheated. Reports from health inspections frequently highlight issues with employee cleanliness, pest activity, and temperature management. Something will suffer when you're attempting to oversee both the meal service and the entertaining of the children. Usually it's the food. Since the target demographics parents are more concerned with survival than with taste assessment, they can get away with serving subpar meals. Even captive audiences, however, have their limitations. Furthermore, the 2019 controversy shown that even desperate parents will occasionally decide that enough is enough. Little Caesars, $5 for a freshly made pizza. The problem with that price point, though, is this. Pizza is only $5 for a reason, and it has nothing to do with Little Caesars' generosity. Let's begin with the dough, which is the base. It takes time for traditional pizza dough to rise and acquire taste. Dough for Little Caesars? It takes less than 30 minutes to move from mixing bowl to oven, thanks to chemical engineering. We are discussing a dough conditioner system that uses a lot of chemicals and is more concerned with speed than flavor. Stores receive the dough as frozen discs that have been loaded with artificial flavors, emulsifiers, and preservatives. These hockey pucks are thawed in industrial microwaves, according to former workers, who then watch as machines stretch them into something that resembles pizza dough. It's not dough. The play dough is edible. But hold on, things get worse. That sauce, water, high fructose corn syrup, tomato paste concentrate, and enough sodium are combined to keep it fresh for weeks without refrigeration. There will be no tomato sauce for you. You're receiving survival food with a tomato flavor. It gets rather unsettling when it comes to the cheese dilemma. Less than 60% of the processed blend they use is real mozzarella. Vegetable oil and milk protein concentrate make up the remainder. You are essentially consuming dairy cosplay. Despite its cheese-like appearance, it is primarily oil masquerading as food. What about the pepperoni? Little Caesar's pepperoni is manufactured from mechanically separated chicken and pork, combined with beef fat and enough nitrates to give it an artificial red hue, according to industry insiders. Rather than real meat, the texture is derived from potato starch and corn syrup. Pepperoni is not what you're eating. You're consuming rubber that tastes like beef. Little Caesars establishments routinely have health inspections that turn up issues that would make a food safety inspector weep. Challenges with employee hygiene, cross-contamination, and temperature control. It's like a master class in how not to run a food service organization. The hot and ready strategy may seem practical, but it turns out that pizzas are left under heat lamps for hours on end, which makes them an ideal environment for bacteria to grow. When your pizza has been exposed to a heat lamp for a longer period of time than some individuals spend at work, freshness and heat are relative. The business model's emphasis on speed raises more safety issues. Workers are taught that speed is more important than correctly preparing food. Not only are undercooked dough and lukewarm toppings disappointing, but they may also be harmful to your health. The best way to judge Little Caesars' quality? Seldom do their own staff members consume the dish. A culture where taking lunch from home was commonplace, since no one trusted what they were giving to clients, is described by several former employees. You should know something is wrong when the folks who prepare your meals refuse to consume it. In the past, Pizza Hut dominated the pizza industry. They had sit-down restaurants, personal pan pizzas that actually tasted excellent, and that famed packed crust that made you forget you were eating chain pizza. However, they lost their course and their crowns sometime in the process. Their famous pan pizza crust is where the deterioration begins. Each restaurant used to make it from scratch using dough that was truly given time to rise and acquire flavor. Nowadays, pre-made dough that has been frozen, transported, and reheated is delivered to the majority of locations. Pizza Hut's iconic characteristic crust is now a ghost of its former self, frequently showing up at your door wet and flavorless. A similar terrible tale is told by the sauce. You forgot you were eating fast food, while the original recipe developed nuanced flavors over the course of hours of simmering. It is now a concentration that is heated in a matter of minutes after being combined with water. The end product tastes less like pizza sauce and more like ketchup, and not even nice ketchup. Here's the real kicker, though. At Pizza Hut, consistency is almost a myth. Because of the franchise business, quality differs greatly between locations. While some franchisees continue to uphold higher standards, others take every available shortcut in an effort to increase income. It's similar to using your dinner to play Russian roulette. Your grandmother would be saddened by the systematic issues found in recent health inspection reports. Cheese and meat toppings are frequently kept at dangerous temperatures for hours at a time, resulting in frequent temperature violations. Another persistent problem is cross-contamination between raw and cooked products. More quality issues have been brought forth by the delivery-focused model. Pizzas are made hours in advance of delivery and warmed as orders are received. In addition to destroying flavor and texture, this procedure poses food safety hazards that would cause a health inspector to grab for the antacids. That pizza with packed crust you used to adore? Instead of being hand-stuffed with real mozzarella, it is now manufactured with a processed cheese product that is injected into a preformed crust. You're getting cheese-flavored letdown encased in bread, not packed crust. Pizza Hut has one of the highest employee turnover rates in the food service sector. This indicates that unskilled employees are preparing food with little instruction. Gordon Ramsay would have a breakdown due to the confluence of safety and quality concerns. Pizza Hut has taken shortcuts that undermine everything that once made them unique in an effort to compete with quicker, less expensive chains. Customers are suffering as a result of their decision to forego their crown in favor of quickness. Although Papa John's has had more crises than a reality TV show, the issues extend beyond drama surrounding the company's leadership. As drastically as their public image has changed, so too has the quality of their meals. The fresh tomato-based sauce they used to boast about? These days, it's a concentrate that has been flavored with artificial water. Technically, the dough is fresh and never frozen, but it contains enough preservatives to keep for days without refrigeration. It is chemically preserved and not fresh. A cliff diver would be envious of the decline in cheese quality. To cut expenses, what was previously 100% mozzarella is now a combination that also contains milk, protein, concentrate, and vegetable oil. The end product is cheese that tastes like it was created by an accounting committee and doesn't melt correctly. A failed sitcom has undergone more reworkings than Papa John's pepperoni. Every iteration has more fillers and less real meat. The fowl in the current recipe is mechanically divided and preserved for weeks with sodium. You're eating meat-flavored salt instead of pepperoni. Quality control in different places differs greatly. While some franchisees actively take costs to make Little Caesars appear gourmet, others uphold better standards. Reports from health inspections identify the typical suspects. Issues with cross-contamination, employee hygiene, and temperature control that would make a germaphobe faint. Cost-cutting tactics brought about by the company's financial difficulties have a direct effect on what ends up on your plate. In an effort to conserve money, portion sizes have decreased, ingredient quality has decreased, and staff training has been reduced. You're getting a subpar product for the same money. Other quality problems are caused by the delivery model. Pizzas that are left in warming bags for long periods of time lose their texture and pose a risk to food safety if the temperature falls too low. Your pizza has experienced more temperature variations than a teen's mood by the time it gets to your door. With each site vying to offer the lowest pricing while yet being profitable, the franchise structure has led to a race to the bottom. Compromises that would make a quality control manager weep are inevitable in this competition. Not every pizza restaurant is going out of business. 3 restaurants are demonstrating that fast pizza can still be delicious while the big 5 are vying to provide the worst cuisine. Mod Pizza's emphasis on fresh ingredients and personalization has transformed the fast casual pizza experience. Their sauce is produced from real tomatoes instead of concentrate, and their dough is made fresh every day without the use of artificial preservatives. Can you imagine that? Fast food made with real ingredients. Because each pizza is produced to order using the build-your-own methodology, there are no worries about food safety that come with pre-made pizzas being heated. Customers can observe their food being produced because to the open kitchen concept, which establishes accountability for cleanliness and quality. MOD's dedication to using only the freshest ingredients is reflected in its toppings. Meats are free of chemical preservatives and fillers, and vegetables are brought every day. Pizza that tastes fresh and doesn't make you want to take a nap later is the end result. Blaze Pizza uses a similar approach, but they place even more emphasis on the quality of their ingredients. They use no artificial additives and only 5 ingredients to make their dough. The sauce is created from vine-ripened tomatoes with no added sugar or preservatives. Concepts that are revolutionary, huh? Blaze's dedication to openness ensures that all ingredient details are easily accessible. All artificial colors, flavors, and preservatives have been removed from their menu. Pizzas are cooked correctly and quickly thanks to the fast fire cooking method. Blaze has much better quality control than traditional chains, with stringent guidelines for food safety and ingredient freshness that are really followed rather than only displayed on posters. Costco may not seem like a natural fit, but their pizza in the food court is often one of the greatest deals around. The key? They use real ingredients despite the low price point. A straightforward method free of artificial preservatives is used to make Costco's dough fresh every day in each location. The cheese is 100% mozzarella without any artificial chemicals or fillers, and the sauce is created from whole tomatoes. They seem to have forgotten that they were expected to take shortcuts. Because of stringent corporate monitoring, the portions are substantial, and the quality is the same throughout all locations. Costco employs pizza as a loss leader to get customers to its warehouse shops, which enables them to offer inexpensive prices. Compared to other pizza chains, Costco has much higher requirements for food safety, with frequent inspections and rigorous adherence to hygienic and temperature guidelines. Keep in mind that you have options the next time you have a yearning for pizza. Seek out chains that prioritize transparency and fresh products. Avoid places that can't tell you what's in their meals or rely largely on pre-made processed components. Marketing claims concerning natural or fresh ingredients should not be believed. When available, read the ingredient lists in their whole. You should also trust your taste buds more than marketing phrases. If it tastes like chemicals, it probably is. However, this is what you should actually do. Encourage your neighborhood pizzerias to use real ingredients and make their dough fresh. These companies frequently support your local economy while offering higher quality products at affordable costs. This is a win-win scenario. The pizza industry doesn't have to be a race to the bottom. Fast and reasonably priced pizza may be served thanks to chains like MOD, Blaze, and Costco. However, the major five chains have taken a different route. Where marketing is more important than actual ingredients, speed is more important than safety, and revenues are more important than quality. You have two options. Either you demand better by choosing eateries that genuinely care about what they provide, or you keep patronizing franchises that serve you processed food items masquerading as pizza. Your taste buds will appreciate it, and your wallet will agree. Share this video with someone who still believes that all pizza chains are the same if it helped you see what's actually going on with your pizza. If you want to keep updated on what's actually in your food, click the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and keep in mind to pick your pizza carefully. Your stomach will appreciate it.